What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I know it's been a good while since I made a video. There's a lot that's been going on. I got me a gob. No, I got me a job, and basically I've been just busy doing that, trying to take care of my family, provide for my daughter, things like that. Also, there's been that COVID-19 going on in the world right now. It's a tough time for everybody. So I hope everybody's doing well out there. I know everybody's stuck inside. Thankfully, I've been fortunate enough to still keep working where I'm at. I guess we're essential for right now anyway, but just gonna keep going. And so back to where we left off with my Honda. The alternator seems to have gone out, and I did a couple of tests just to be sure, and I'm going to show you how I did those tests and how I came to the conclusion that it is the alternator. So we're going to do that, and then I'll show you what it's going to take to replace it. Change of plans. My battery's not in this car. I forgot I took it out and left it at my parents along with my power probe. But usually the way you test an alternator is if you have a power probe, you can put power to the battery, a multimeter. It's kind of like a multimeter, and when you crank the car, or when you turn the car on, it should have a voltage of, I believe, 12.0 or higher when you run the car and you start turning things on. And if that voltage starts to drop, then that means your alternator is not pushing continual current to the battery. So wish I could show you guys, but I don't have that today, and I'm just doing a simple video for now just to stay busy. So I'm gonna get right to it. Just gonna take off the alternator, and a good buddy of mine, his name is Joe, he's actually gonna hook me up with an alternator. So he doesn't get off work till 5:30, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get it ready, take it off, and then go pick up that alternator later. So we'll get started on that. Alright, so I think I gotta start getting this out of the way, and I hope that's it, because alternators here, I believe there's 2 bolts back here. You can kind of see once you pop this off. There's one that's like some kind of ground or power. I don't know if you can see it, but gotta get that one off. And then I think there's something else mounted to the actual engine. I think I gotta get that pulley off, and then of course the serpentine belt. So we'll do that, and we'll be on our way to replacing it. I got it loose now. It's just actually pretty simple, just 2 bolts holding it there, and now it's just that one ground wire I gotta get off from the back. Alright, you can see it. It's loose now. I'm just trying to wiggle it out of there. It's kind of jammed in there, but it's almost there. Alright, so got it off. That was pretty simple. Way more simple than I thought it was going to be. So you see right there, is just, that's the ground right there. Ground wire goes to there, and then you got 2 bolts holding it to the car. One right there, and then one right there. That one goes through the water pump behind the pulley. So I took off the pulley. I don't know if I really needed to, but I just did it simple. It's 3 bolts, just makes it easier. So I don't think you would have had to, but I just did it. So now we're just gonna wait on getting that alternator, and then we'll get it put on and try to start it up. Alright, so I got an awesome surprise for you guys. My buddy Joe that I'm gonna pick up the alternator from, he actually has a LS swapped Honda S2000. So we're gonna head that way, and I'm really excited because I've been talking to him on and off for past couple of years. I've known him for a while. Really good guy. He's put a lot of time into this build, and just a lot of detail in this build, so I'm really excited to see it. So we're gonna head that way. Alrighty guys, so we made it here to Joe's garage. And he's got some pretty interesting things here that I haven't seen, or I didn't know he was this talented, man. It's freaking amazing.
I just get bored.
So let me show you what he's got here. So he got, so first of all, he's hooked me up with this alternator, which super grateful for that. And that's actually polished too, but check out this intake manifold. So check that out. That's side-by-side comparison.
You can see the differences. If you look at them like this, you can clearly see all the differences in what was removed and what was retained. So right off the bat, you can see that this is gone. This boss that used to be there. Right. This might have been something that was kept over from when they did the original S2000 from the AP1. Yeah. It could have been something that was there before.
Right.
But that's cut off. All the casting flash, the seams are all removed.
Oh, I see. So it's just flat now.
It's just flat. You can see it right there. So
it's a mirror finish right there.
In the back isn't too much. I didn't do the bottom. It just didn't. The visible stuff I did, but you can see it. I wasn't gonna take the time. No, you never see that. But
it's cramped in that area.
And it's really hard to get in there.
Yeah.
Looking down here, you can see where stuff's been removed and stuff's been smoothed out. This has been blended in a little bit better.
No, it's awesome.
This, whatever this was, is removed.
So when you remove that stuff like this and this notch here, was it just flat there? You had to do any welding?
It was just no welding, luckily. So I actually bought a different. I bought a different intake. This intake actually I bought from a guy named Colin Mikos, who's in Ohio.
Okay.
And Colin is pretty popular on online. He's got a black S2000. So when I bought that, now I had two. This one was still on the car, and I had this one to mess with. As I'm cutting things off, I'm just hoping. Let's hope there's not a hole. Let's hope there's nothing behind there. So it was like a leap of faith every time I did it. So removed it here. All through here, if you look through the mounting points, even around.
Oh yeah, I see that.
So this has been blended.
Clean that up.
Yeah, that's been cleaned up.
Here, it's just nothing there, seamless.
And a lot of this is once it's on the car and once it's mounted, this is all covered by the fuel rail. It's covered by there's a plastic cover, so a lot of it isn't visible. But if you get in there and look, for the people who are gonna do that, it was right. You know, they couldn't believe it. So
that's amazing.
And it just took time. It started off with a file, started off with a Dremel motor, started off with different grits of sandpaper. One thing I did learn is that sandpaper is not the same. If you get like a 3M, it's not the same as some other brand.
Like, they have like D, or for example 80 grit, like it'll say 80D or something like that. Sometimes I know what you're talking about.
So I learned to stay with the same brand.
Yeah.
So because this 800 on this one, and then I changed it maybe finer. So I think I'm moving up and I'm actually moving back.
Right.
So I couldn't get the scratches out. Kept going back and forth with the scratching. So once I got all the same system of sandpaper, I was able to progress up to like 2,000, 3,000, and then from there go with the metal polish and a polisher. So.
And how long did this take you for this manifold?
This one took me about 2 months to do. So I would never do it for hire. It was something that it became like it was a project. You know, this is a hobby for me. Is what I like to do. Yeah. So. It's not.
Check that out. That's worth it, man. Yeah, it looks so good.
It's and then this was polished a little. This needs to be cleaned up, but this I did a quick polish on this one.
That looks good.
Because it's mounted underneath. So.
And Joe completely hooked me up with this alternator, so that's insane, man. So all I had to do is give him a little bit of clear, and we're good to go. So
I'm good.
Appreciate that, Joe.
Not a problem.
Thanks so much.
And so this is what that clear is going on. And it's going to be
some carbon fiber work
some carbon fiber repair. This had a big crack in it, so I repaired that. This is pretty much ready. I have a couple spots that I went back and touched up that may need a little bit of work, but this will be cleared.
That's gonna look nice.
And you want to see the car?
And then we're gonna check out the car. All right, so here's the unveiling LS Swap S2000.
Be dramatic, but it'll give it some separation, give it something. And I need to redo all of it.
Man, look at that. That's crazy.
Now, being a painter, I don't want you to find all my flaws, but they're there.
Man, that is insane. Check that out. Look at that detail. And the paintwork looks really good, actually. For not ever painting professionally.
First time painting.
First time
Just a lot of
painting.
reading. Just a lot of reading.
Look at that. If he can do it, anyone can do it.
Takes a little bit of money, a little bit of extra tools.
Yeah. Good job, Joe.
Yeah,
man.
thanks.
That looks
Appreciate
sick.
it. Thanks.
Everything looks super detailed, super clean. Man, that looks so aggressive. It looks like it's meant to be in this engine bay, right? For these little cars.
It took a little bit of work to make it look like that, but yeah, it's.
So how long did this take you from start to finish?
The total project probably took me 18 months.
Wow. So
it was.
A year.
And the reason I went with the LS is I had a supercharged. It was supercharged F22. It was a stock motor, and I put a Craftworks supercharger. And I ended up breaking the motor. They ended up
really?
breaking a ringland.
I saw that other.
Gouged the piston. And it costs a lot of money to rebuild one of those motors. So people don't really think that they're gonna blow up a motor. I didn't plan to blow up a motor, but when I did, it was a lot more expensive than just putting a supercharger on it. So I made a decision. I started doing the work, pulled the motor, started doing the tuck, started doing the base shave before I actually bought the LS1. I didn't even know what I was gonna do yet. So I started the tuck. I knew that was gonna have to happen.
So then you just went for it.
And then so once I started getting to a point, started doing the brake line tuck, and then once it started getting close, then that was when it was. All right, I'm gonna do an LS. Get the LS swap kit. Start doing the big cutting. Start doing the body work. Start getting all the prep done for the motor to go in. And then it was always searching eBay, searching all the different salvage yards that would sell LS1 motors and sell LS motors. And I was looking for that F body. I was looking for that's what you want is an F body setup. So from a 98 to 02 Camaro or an 04 GTO. That's supposed to be the easiest one to fit in. And it's desired by everybody. So.
And what kind of power does this put out?
You know, from the factory, this should be about 350 horsepower. Now I've added, it's got the Fast 102 intake.
Okay, I see that. I was wondering what.
Yeah, it's got the Fast 102 intake, and I've actually shaved the lettering on it. So it's shaved and painted, and it's got a Texas Speed MS3 cam. Wow. So it's got a little.
Everything.
Yeah, it's got a little.
Gosh,
bit,
man.
It's got a little bit of lope, so it's a little aggressive.
Can we start it up?
Yeah, we can start it up. We've got
this bad boy.
Yeah.
All right, let's start it up. It's gonna be loud.
It's gonna be loud.
That's insane. Yeah. I'm in love.
Yeah,
I'm in love with this, man.
It.
That is insane. You just like reignited my love for the S2000, even though it's not a Honda motor, but it's just all this together is just perfect. Crazy.
I'm not a purist. I'm not
right?
A purist. No. I've done a lot of different stuff to it over the years, and it's just
I've kind of followed you. What, it's been what, 3 years, 3 or 4 years?
Well, at least it's been a while since
I know. I know. The last time I saw you was at a car meet, and I had just painted my car.
Yeah, it was Cars and Coffee.
And you made a comment on the
I love it. Yeah.
Hood. I was like, thank you, man. No one really kind of.
Yeah, because some people
pointed it out. I was like, yeah, cool.
But that's the type of details I like. I mean, if you even look here, I mean, you see what I did on the valve covers, the two-tone and the pinstripe. So I've kind of carried I saw what you did and kind of carried that into what I want to do.
Yeah, you know? I want to do it more to mine, but I don't know. I'm trying to decide on different things, different colors and stuff like that, but we'll see. So thanks, Joe, for
anytime,
taking
man.
the time to show us
Good
this
luck.
beast here.
Anytime, man. I love it.
So yeah, cool.
All right.
All right, guys, it's a new day here. So I actually got the alternator, and I forgot to mention Joe's Instagram. So if you guys want to follow his build, you can follow him on Instagram at JoeDirtS2K, and he usually posts a lot of cool stories on there too, so you can check that out. Follow him along on the build. So I'm gonna keep going on this. I'm gonna get the alternator installed, get everything all buttoned up, and then I'll show you guys how it's running, and then we'll go from there. There we got the new alternator from Joe, and then the old one. You can see he put a lot of work into this. It looks really nice, so we're gonna start getting that on, and hopefully it works. Alright, there it is, guys. So we got the new alternator on, and I also put the belt back on with the water pump pulley. So now I actually went and picked up my battery after I picked up the alternator yesterday. So got my battery, and then here's that power probe I was talking about. This is a really good tool for diagnostics and things like that. So we'll be using this to just double check everything. So I'm gonna put that battery on, and then hopefully it starts up. Alright, so here's a moment of truth. We're gonna try to crank it over. So it's not starting, but I think I'm gonna let the fuel prime one more time, and it should start up. So let's try that. You can kind of hear the fuel pump. Should start up. Let's see. There we go. All right. Cool. Alright, so it's staying on and everything's running good. So now what I'm going to do is, I know I talked about showing you how to do the alternator test earlier. So now that I have the power probe right there, so we'll go ahead and hook that up, and I'll show you how to check your voltage and look for power to the alternator and where it should be at. So let's do that. Alright, so I hooked up this power probe, and it's got a really cool adapter where you can hook up the negative terminal and the positive here, and it actually gives power to the power probe. And so when the car is off, usually a good battery should read I want to say about 12 volts or 12.8. so you can check that by hitting this button here, and you can see it says 12.1. and this battery's been sitting for a while, so it's probably not fully charged, but it's good enough to get the car started. So now we're going to start the car, and when a car is running, it should be, I want to say, about 13 volts or higher. So we're going to check that. Alright, so we got the car turned on, and you can see the voltage is at 11.8, and that's actually pretty low. I believe the car is supposed to be, while running, it's supposed to be 13.8 through 14 volts. So that is a little low. I think I'm gonna have to maybe charge the battery a little bit, because this battery's been sitting for a while, because I haven't driven this car in a while. So I'm gonna do that, and I think it should be okay. It's running pretty smooth. When I turn on the lights and things like that, it drops a little bit, so I'm pretty sure I just got to give the battery a good charge. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Huge shout out to Joe again. Thank you so much for the alternator. And guys, please go check out his Instagram at JoeDirtS2K. I'm gonna leave his Instagram link in the description below, so check that out. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna keep going with this S2000 build, and it's gonna be real fun. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you guys next time.